Okay, so hi everyone, Malis here. So in this video, basically, just I will brief you through the entire talent selection and also evaluation process, and I will tell you all how can you conduct an effective interview, and at the same time can utilize the spreadsheet that we already created for you. Yeah, so firstly, I'll just give you a overall picture on how the entire talent selection will look like. So there's four simple process. So for the first step, which is the opening, introduce yourself, and then you tell about the objective of interview to the candidate, and also set a very simple expectation setting. And then you will move to after that you will do a very simple ice breaking question with them, and then we will move to a general interview assessment, which is will more focusing in calibration and behavior and also Isaac value. Yeah, just to remind you that in the question itself, the candidate have to answer minimum one question for each of the Isaac value, which means in total he or she need to answer at least 6 questions total for Isaac value section. Yeah. So after that, we'll move to functional interview. The functional interview is based on the department that the applicant choose. And yeah, so when you know which department he is choosing, in which function that he is choosing, so you can ask that person regarding the function. Yeah. So the last part, which is the commitment and others part. So in this commitment and others, actually is a very how to say is actually you as a VVPM, you can set the commitment question you yourself depend on your LC needed. Yeah, so you can think about the commitment question that you want to ask the candidate, and then after that you can do a very proper closing for the candidate, like asking feedback and also asking how do the candidate feel after the interview. Yeah, so this is the overview of the entire talent selection. So now I will move into the interview spreadsheet, which can give you a even clearer picture. Yep. So yeah, this is how the tools look like. We now are using back in a spreadsheet format. So one interview spreadsheet is only for one candidate. Yeah. So when you are having a lot of candidates, you need to create a new spreadsheet for one individual. Yeah. So you can see from the candidate personal information, actually it's very simple. The name, phone, email, their faculty, the persona is actually based on what they choose in the application form. And then based on the persona itself, you can see actually based on the persona chosen from the candidate, you can align with their persona to what is the department they're actually suitable. So what is persona look like is actually about this thing. Yep. So you can see actually, if you realize that in the MRD applicant form, we were actually having a question that asking them to choose 3 statements that describe them the most. So from the how to say, like from the statement that they have chosen, you can actually see what is their persona. So when they have their persona, you can align with to the operation to the functional that they are suitable, like operation, or even though doing sales, or even though doing marketing, or even PM. Yeah, just based on this persona statement to put the information. Yep. So yes, so after that, yeah, it's like what I said just now. You need to do a very simple icebreaker. You can do the tell them the objective, set expectation, introduce yourself, and then ask them to introduce themselves as well. Yeah, so after that you can ask a very simple question. So how would your friend and family describe you? Yeah, so actually this question can basically know like what is a behavior and how people perceive the person from their friends and even family perspective. It's actually a very good question. And then second step is about calibration. So in calibration question, one thing that you have to take note is when you ask them what they understand about Isaac, and they and they tell you about their answer, if they are wrong, please correct them on the spot. Yeah, if they are like in calibration, actually you have to the interviewer have to explain Isaac to the candidate, make sure they understand it. Yeah, you cannot just leave if they are having a wrong mindset, you have to correct them. Yeah, so have to clarify this thing to your interviewer, to your LC member when they are conducting an interview. It's very important to shape our branding and our external perspective to what is that. Yep. So after the third step, it will be AM behavior, which is ownership, collaborative, and then proactive. Yep. So after they answer the question, you actually have to assess the answer. It's either they have it or either they don't have it. It's either 0 or 1. Yep. Don't have 0.5. Yeah. It's either they have or they don't have. Right. So after the AM behavior, we move to Isaac value. So there are 6 Isaac value here. So like for the Isaac value section, minimum 1 question per value that you need to ask the candidate. So which means in total you need the candidate at least need to answer 6 questions, and then 1 for each of the value. Yeah, so there's actually few questions that is available here. But for me, some as an interviewer, we have to be flexible a little bit. For example, if I want to ask striving for excellence, and I choose the first question to ask, but actually the candidate do not have the biggest success so far. Yeah, so if it's in that case, actually the interviewer just choose the second question lah, as long as we achieve the objective. Yeah, you cannot, you ask this question but end up he cannot answer, then you just put 0. I think it's not a proper way to do that, but actually you can choose another question to ask the candidate. It might, you can maybe you can get a new context or new, a better answer from the person. Yeah, so just to remind you again, we have 6 value and also minimum 1 question per value that you need to ask the candidate. Yeah, for the evaluation, it's the same thing. It's assess the answer based on 0 or 1. It's either have or don't have. Yep. So this is the entire general part. So after that, we'll move to the functional. Yep. So in this thing, actually, when we're talking about functional, we actually evaluate a candidate based on their core competence. Yeah. So what is called for each of the position, actually we already have a core competence that this position need to portray. That's why we already separate it out. For each function, we at least will have 2 core competence, and then based on the core competence, we design the question that actually can align with the core competence. Yeah, that's why if let's say your candidate is choosing OCFL, yeah, and also the persona that the candidate show is actually aligned with OCFL as well. So yeah, you just ask OCFL lor. Yeah, so based on the question that you ask, and then based on the answer that they have answered, you have to record it nicely. And then how are you going to evaluate their answer? Actually, we have 2 evaluated methods. Yeah, so the first evaluated method is about indicator. Yeah, so how indicator look like? So if you realize that they have another tab called indicators, and you click the indicators, and actually uh, you can have the positive indicator and also negative indicator based on each of the core competency. Yeah, so what you have to do is you just, if you see the candidate is showing a positive indicate showing how is that their answer actually is aligned to the statement that putting it in putting their answer actually align with the statement of the indicator. Actually you can just copy the indicator into the column itself. Yeah, so for example, OCFL, and we're talking about data savvy. Oh, okay, so after the person answer, when we move to evaluation, we can just go to the indicator and we find data savvy. Or actually he's showing a positive indicator, so you can see the statement which is more aligned to their answer or to their performance. So for example, he showed this thing, you can just copy it, and then you paste you paste into the indicator here. So you actually this is the first method to evaluate the candidate, and it will definitely help you when the MT, the director, are selecting their members. Yeah, so the next evaluation method is about rating. So rating is about 1 to 5. It's actually each of the level we already stick the written very clear description. So you can just read the description, and then based on their performance, their answer, you choose the level that they actually most suitable for them. For example, they are in level 3. You can just put a 3 over here. So it will be one of the evaluation score that we evaluate the candidate performance for the entire interview. Yeah. So for every function, the process is the same. You just choose the function that they are applying for, and then you ask the question regarding of the function, and then you based on their answer, their performance, you choose the indicators, and you rate the rating based on the description. Yep. So it's as just simple as that. So after you finish interview for functional part, so you move to about commitment part. So for the commitment, the question that actually I set is just have 6 questions. like are you able to commit yourself for 1 year, because normally our membership is for 1 year, and then are you able to attend NLC, because conference is a very important learning and important touch point for them to absorb, to develop themselves. Yeah. So the third question is physically during semester break, because normally we are recruiting members for IGX or even IGV project management. That's why their commitment is very important, to commit minimum for 6 weeks, at least for one batches, right? So for the last commitment question, actually what is the other commitment they have or plan to have? Because if let's say we have a candidate that have a lot of commitment, others like they have a Chinese society, they have their maybe their other club, so Isaac is their third society or third club. So you just imagine, if we have a lot of activity, we have January 3 meeting, we have booth, everything, they actually couldn't commit. So how we can develop them, how we can provide a leadership experience toward them. That's why we need to really clear uh, what is the commitment that the candidate can give to us. Yeah. So yeah, for the last part, of course, it's about feedback. Anything else you want to ask us, and how satisfied are you with the interview? Okay. So for this part commitment question, actually LCBP, you are actually free to edit the priority question according to your need. But this sixth question is for me, is the compulsory question that you have to ask in order for you to select the most suitable candidate for your to become your LC members. Okay, so you actually can see there's extra question pools. So this extra question pools is for me, if let's say throughout the entire interview you want to understand the candidate more, actually you can ask some extra question based on this pool. For me, this all these question actually a very suitable question to ask them to understand them even more. Yeah, so this is why we have extra question pools. So this is how the entire interview will look like. And now I will proceed to how can we evaluate a candidate in the most effective way. So okay, so before I move to evaluation process, just one more important things that I want LCBP to take note is about the personalizing feedback for every individual. So actually, in the interview, especially we have a we have a slot for them to put in their feedback. So this is how the slot look like. Is about here. So actually every panel, which means is the interviewer, they have to put their name, and then after the entire interview they can suggest the function. If they don't have, then you can just put a blank, and also you put the decision, which maybe is yes, this candidate pass, no, maybe this candidate fail, or leave it to further discussion. Yeah, so this is the result that actually panelists have the right to put the result, because they are the one who interview them. Yeah, they know this candidate suitable to be in our member as well or not. Yeah, so after that, a very crucial part, which is the feedback. Actually the feedback is separated into AM behavior, IZ value, and also functional question. So actually the interviewer have the responsibility to fill in the feedback in order for us to generate a quality feedback toward all the candidates that we have interviewed. Okay, I will tell you all why it is so important. It's because it is crucial to do it and send to the applicant, no matter it's pass or fail, because it serves as a learning point for them. Yeah, interview actually is a learning process for all the candidates that have trust in Isaac and want to be our Isaac members. Yeah, so they take this initiative. Actually, they deserve a very concrete feedback from us for them in order for them to improve. Yeah, so this step actually serve as building up our branding by running a professional recruitment process as well. So when we are doing this thing, actually it shape our branding, and it can change how external perceive us as well, because we say that we are running like a real company. Yeah, we are a real organization. Yeah, so it's very important for us to do the feedback, and I hope everyone really every interviewer can really put their concrete feedback immediately after they interview the candidate, because they're having the strong memory how this candidate perform. Yeah, okay, so after the entire interview tools and also about the feedback process, so I will tell you all about the evaluation process. So it's actually in this time we're having a evaluation framework, and actually you can see this is how the entire evaluation tab look like, and have their name, have their first evaluation, second evaluation, third evaluation and fourth evaluation. Yeah, so I will explain, I will very brief go through. So the objective that we're having this screening process is to make sure we are selecting the right profile of candidate, and also they have aligned with our value and core competency. At the same time, they're able to commit to their role and have a high potential to have a long career path in ISAC, which means they can from member to director to VP and then to LCP. After they graduate, they maybe can go for MC as well. Yeah, this is very important for us to select the best candidate. Yeah, so what actually is the thing that we are evaluating? I think the first thing, it will be university level and year of study, because you need to understand now we actually targeting year one student, because they are more potential to have a long career path in Nigeria. We impossible to recruit a year 3 or even year 4 final year student to become a member, because we clearly know that they, after they finish the member term, they're going to graduate and they are no longer able to commit already, and it will definitely hurt your entire LC pipeline. Yeah, so that's why this is the first evaluating that we are looking for. Yeah, so the second thing is about the commitment, which is they are able to attend NLC. Do they have other commitment? Do they can commit for 1 year, and do they can stay for 6 weeks? Because we need at least the first thing that we need to the second thing that we need to evaluate is about, do they able to give commitment to learn and develop themselves in ISAC? If they are not, so what for we are recruiting them? Okay, so we move to the third evaluation, which is AM behavior and Isaac value. So the things that I think we all need to, from my perspective, actually value and behavior is something really hard to shape. It's same as mindset. That's the thing that we are very hard to shape, and we do not put so much effort in maybe 1 year to just shape their behavior and then their mindset. So this behavior and value actually is the third evaluation that we need to look into when we are recruiting our members. Yeah, if they are not aligned with our value, actually these members are not suitable to be in Isaac already. Okay, so the fourth evaluation only is our functional. That's why in functional, just like what I said just now, we have the rating evaluation method, which is you put the score 1 to 5, and then you can another part is you put the indicator, which is the positive indicator or even negative indicator based on the statement that I already inserted. Okay, so these are the four things that we evaluate our candidate. And yeah, this thing, the indicator, you can get it from the spreadsheet, and like what I explained just now. So the thing is, remember the evaluation tab, PM should be the final responsible of the completion of these two. So we, as a PMers, we have to really fill in everything and put into here. So when we go into the evaluations phrase, like we really need to select, evaluate the member, do they pass the interview or not, and this tool is the most useful tools that you can use when you are having an evaluation with all the EBMTs. Okay, so make sure PM need to fill in this task in order for an effective evaluation. Okay, so what is the responsible of an interviewer? Their responsible is to make sure they fill in all these, or they really complete the tools, fill in their answer, assess their score, and then and also put in their to really be a good minute taker, to put in their answer and then put in their indicator, at the same time put the rating. So after that, we actually can transfer the information from the interview spreadsheet into the tool itself. Okay, so like I just give you another suggestion. If you want to how to say, make a PM job be very effective or be very quick, actually you can just ask the interviewer to transfer the information themselves as well. Yeah, it's a very simple job also, but just depends on how are you going to conduct the train the recruiters to your LC member, especially your EBMTs. Okay, so yeah, the actually all the tools and link I already inserted into the slide, and you all will definitely get the slide as well as a reference. Okay, so I just recap a little bit. So your role as a VPM, make sure you go to the education video and duplicate the assessment evaluation tool in your own Get Master sheet. But yes, for sure, for each of the candidate, they need to have a interview sheet, which means it's actually this interview sheet. If you are interviewer candidate A, you actually can rename it as candidate A, and actually you have to duplicate this interview spreadsheet and rename it as candidate A. So when we are evaluate the candidate, we can just simply open the spreadsheet that name as candidate A. Yeah. So the third thing is you have to provide education which is trained the recruiter toward your EBMT or even your entire LC regarding on how to conduct an effective interview and how to use all these tools. Okay, so we have to conduct TTR, train the recruiter to the LC. Okay, and then as a LC PM, we also need to ensure the selection process is running effectively by 100% implementation of all the tools, and then really fill in as your interviewer, fill in all the score and indicators based on the performance of candidate. Okay, and then one last thing, very important, to ensure your interviewer fill in personalized feedback for the candidate. Yeah, so I think that's it from this entire education video, and if you have any question, you can just personally approach me. Thank you very much. Bye bye.